It's the Al Travis Show. We're lucky to have Todd Bergeth on us. He's the sports guy from Central Minnesota. Love having him here. Todd, how you doing this week, my friend?
I'm excellent. Yourself, Al?
Well, I will be okay. I realized the earlier Sunday game, the 8:30 game, which I hated, by the way, did give me 4 extra hours to get over it before trying to sleep at night. If that was like the Sunday night game, I never would have slept. So there's something to the early loss, but I'm not happy with it. Not happy at all.
No, it was a game that, if you went through and if you do like we do here at the radio station, we try to predict the Vikings record at the end of the year before the season begins. Well, the way to do that is you look at the schedule and you mark down your wins and losses, and the Steelers game would have been one that I had as a win for the Vikings. I think I picked 11 wins for the Vikes this year before the season began. So to lose that one and really to get outplayed for most of the game, and then they made a rally at the end that came up short. But yeah, it's concerning for sure.
Well, what concerns me a lot is possibly these slow starts, and it's not a great sports mind. This offensive line is not what we thought it was.
Right.
Darisaul's there. I get it. People get hurt. You have backups. Well, then treat it like everything else. We've got 4 or 5 great receivers, but we have just one center, one right guard, one left guard. I mean, that's worth anything. Is that really how we have this put together? One guy falls, it's done?
Yeah, and not only that, but you put all your baskets in the Ryan Kelly, or all your eggs in the Ryan Kelly basket, knowing that he had a fairly significant concussion history when he was with the Colts. Now, I didn't look it up to see if he had some in college as well. But 2 of the Vikings this year gives him 5 confirmed concussions. And you know that probably he's had more than that because they're all of different severity. Those are 5 concussions in which he left games. Now, I would guess that he's had others in which he kind of just shook it off and didn't tell anybody if he was able to hide the symptoms, so it's possible there was more. So to spend the free agent money on him, although he didn't cost as much as Will Fries did, and have him and figure he's going to be your center, and like you said, not back him up with really a credible potential starting center when he's only 1 snap away, that's a misstep in the preseason as well by Kwesi and KOC. They put too much stock in that Kelly might be healthy this year.
And back to then, what are we thinking we're going to get out of him? Are they seriously going to ask this young man? And I get it. It's the NFL. You're finally making some real money doing something you've loved your whole life. But we know he's had 5 concussions. Do you even allow him to come back on the field if we're the people we think we are? I'm sorry. I'm saying, you know what, young man? I think you need to retire. You have more to life than this, than what, the next concussion or the next one, whichever one gives you Parkinson's or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Do we not have a responsibility to say that's it?
I think we have a responsibility to make him aware of the risks. I think it's going too far when you start denying a guy who wants to make a living anyway, that he wants to make it, as long as it's legal, of course. I think if he understands the risk, and I'm sure nobody understands better than him. Everybody was calling for Tua to hang it up when he was knocked unconscious and had the arm straight out.
Yeah.
He had some real overt signs. We didn't really see that from Kelly. I didn't know he was out of the game until they said that he had left with some concussion symptoms.
Sure.
So make him aware. I think it's going too far to tell him he can't play. If he wants to come back and play, just like Tua, they're aware of the risk. If they want to risk that, consulting with their family and so forth, then that's for them to decide, in my opinion.
All right, fair enough. Let me ask you this. Where you sit on Wentz, then? He's in there getting 6 sacks.
Yeah.
And I got 2 interceptions. 2 were, interfered
And
with.
a fumble lost.
Yeah. Where are you sitting with him?
Bench him as soon as McCarthy's healthy. He's a backup. Carson Wentz has played for 5 different teams in 5 years.
Yep.
He's the first quarterback ever to start for 5 different teams in 5 years, and we see why. Not all sacks are created equal. There were a couple where there were blown calls along the line. That could be on Wentz, too. That's not necessarily a play and scheme thing. It's the quarterback's job, especially with a backup center, to come up there and make the line calls. Now, maybe he hasn't enough time with the team to do that all perfectly correct. But I would say at least half of the 6 sacks, if not 4 of them, were because he's back to massaging the football and not throwing it. And this is what he has done his entire career. I thought Greg Olsen made a great point. He said, you can see the things that Carson Wentz does well. He said, but you also see why teams have moved on from him.
Yep.
Too many negative plays. He takes too many sacks. He often makes those sacks be larger for a loss in yardage than they would have to be if he would step up in the pocket instead of trying to spin out. He's not athletic enough to do that. Few of them are. And he turns the ball over. He throws picks. He fumbles it. We saw all of that on display this last Sunday morning.
But it's back to he is our second stringer. You have a second stringer who put you in 350 yards, 2 TDs. I get the 2 interceptions and the fumble. You couldn't ask much more from a backup, but we seriously are.
Right.
So the rest of the team has to pick it up. My point, give him extra time. Wentz needs more time. And then you mentioned putting JJ back in as soon as possible.
Yeah.
If JJ were okay for this coming Sunday's 8:30 in the morning show, would you want him there so he has that extra game before we play the 4 hardest teams that we have coming up on the schedule?
Yes, I think if he's healthy, he should play. Now, we'll see. They haven't had a physical practice yet, so we don't know. But because KOC has said we need Jay to have a full week of practice before we feel comfortable playing him. And then he referenced the second game when he missed the Thursday for the birth of his child and didn't practice on that Thursday and then looked overwhelmed. Now, I'm not going to say that JJ is going to come back after sitting out for 2 weeks and suddenly the lights go on for him. And he's hitting passes, he's throwing guys open, he's doing what we need him to do. That's probably not going to be the case. It could be rough looking. It likely will be. But there's no way you find out if he's your guy for the future than you do by not playing him. He's got to play. Okay. You have to know, I think, by the end of this year, is he our guy going forward? You know one thing, Wentz isn't your guy for the future. He's not.
Yeah, that's true.
So you got to find out what McCarthy has.
All right, we got to go to break. The last thing we want this team to do, though, is be sub 500 when you've got those 4 teams coming up. They've got to find a way to beat the Browns. We'll be back and have this lot of stuff going on in sports, and I've got him, Todd Bergeth, discussing it. More right after this. We've got him, Todd Bergeth. He is the sports voice in West Central Minnesota, and I love having him on. Todd, let's talk some other stuff that's going to make some people mad. Evidently, it's Rocco's fault that the Minnesota Twins were as bad as they were, but we got rid of that, so I'm sure everybody's just thrilled to death. You happy they finally made the call to get rid of that terrible American League Coach of the Year from 2019?
Yeah, I sense a little tongue-in-cheek. And that's how it would be for me, too. No, it's not all his fault. I mean, managers have some things to do with winning and losing over the course of the year. A good manager is probably maybe plus 4 wins for you over the course of a season. Now there's people screaming at me right now, oh, there was more than that. The thing about Rocco is everybody criticized his handling of the pitching staff. That's the most difficult thing for a manager to do, is to correctly call when to take a starting pitcher out of the game or not.
Sure.
Now, was it last year, I believe, or maybe the year before, when Rocco had a healthy starting rotation and they were pitching well, the Twins were 3rd in Major League Baseball in starters innings pitched. So when he's getting good pitching starters, he will stick with it. He just haven't had that much good pitching lately. Well, why does that happen? It's not the manager's fault. It's Derek Falvey. That's the guy that should be moving on, only because we can't fire the Polats. So next in line should be Falvey, in my opinion. You look at the number of first-round draft picks, some of them quite high, that he's had. Royce Lewis was number 1 overall, and then Walker Jenkins was number 5. Those are the 2 highest. But Brooks Lee was the number 8 pick in the draft. They just haven't drafted well. Many of their guys that they have selected, college-age or high school-age hitters, just haven't developed, or they've been so damaged throughout their minor league careers, like Lewis, that by the time they get to the big leagues, they haven't had enough at-bats and enough playing time, so they struggle to emerge their rookie year like we see other team rookies do. We just don't see the Twins having any rookies who have their breakout year right away, their rookie season. Other teams have that. The Twins don't. I think this is more on Falvey.
I love that you brought up Falvey, because literally he comes out in a press conference and says, this is really my fault, and I feel horrible about this, but I have to fire Rocco. Because when you lose 92 games, that's what happens in this league. The man started out letting us know exactly what you said. It is his fault. They gutted this team. And if you go back 2 years before that, right after we win our first a series in the tournament, they gutted the team by $30 million after that. We had the AL leading batting champion. We got rid of him. Couldn't have that stick around. And then they blamed this guy. And he says, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. You lose 92 games, you're gone.
Yeah.
Man up and say, I'm quitting. I'm retiring. They won't do it. Let me do it.
That's right. Let us have a vote. Everybody would vote for the Pohlads to go.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. They wound up finding somebody to bail them out with hundreds of millions of dollars to erase their debt that many feel was not incurred by owning the Twins. It was incurred by their other business interests. Now, I agree with everything you said, except the Louis Arise thing. I was fine with getting rid of Louis Arise. Look what we got in return, our ace pitcher, Pablo Lopez. And Louis has since moved on from Miami. He's on to San Diego and so forth. Yeah, he's fine. But I would take Pablo Lopez all week long and twice on Sunday, even with a little bit of injury history that he's had.
And I like you a ton, but I'm going to be honest. You're going to take a great every game player and say, I'll take one good pitcher every fourth day or fifth day? Come on.
Calling Louis great is a huge stretch.
A batting champion. He can hit like heck and get on base. That's how you score runs.
It's overrated. Batting average is the most overrated statistic in baseball. I don't care that much that he won a batting title. I really don't. I don't see him with any extra hitting power. And the hidden missing bases because of Louis Arise, because he had no power. So your outfielders are cheating in. How far, Al? When Louis Arise is at the plate, the outfielders are cheating in. Well, what happens then? You can't go first to third. It's much harder to score from second base, and you're sure as heck not going from first to home. So there's a lot of things. Calling Louis great is a huge stretch, in my opinion. Plus, he was the worst defender in baseball for multiple years. He never got out of the 5th percentile in runs saved average. So a horrible defensive player. He could do one thing, hit singles. That's not enough for me.
Fair enough. I still don't want them firing Rocco, but he's gone. All right.
I'm with you. Okay.
I
don't either.
One last topic before I let you go, because I don't know what we do. What do you do with the Lynx? The Lynx were going to win, right? This was it. This is our season. No one's getting on our way, and you see it all year long. They get to these last two games and literally stop playing in the middle of the third quarter when they're up 20, lose that. Coach goes bongos. Literally, I mean, swearing at the crowd. I mean, just Effenheimers here and there. Yeah. And then we lose that third game, or the fourth game after we were, of course, up by about 10 or 13. This is epic Minnesota kind of stuff.
It kind of is. And we thought they were immune to the Minnesota malaise. They have 4 championships, all from Coach Reeve, who is also the general manager of that team now and is responsible entirely for the roster. It's a good roster, no doubt. They have a superstar in Collier. I think it just wound up being a bad finish to the year. And part of it, I think, has to be the last time they played competitive games in the regular season, the last 15 games they had of a 44-game season, they knew that they were going to be the number 1 seed. Yeah. I think they slowed down a little bit. Right. Now the clutch play, and they didn't have Collier in Game 4. That really hurts them. Hopefully she's not too severely injured from that play the night before that had Reeve going bonkers. I think you stick with it. I don't think you have to blow up the roster at all. I think you just keep marching in step. It's hard to win.
But as I understand it with the Lynx, though, a majority of their squad is free agencies this year. How much money will the Lynx? Yeah, how much will this team be willing to lose to keep the squad together? I don't know. And what should you do with your coach if the coach is going to lose it like that? And I know she's won all kinds of. We love her. Yeah. But I don't think you can yell at the crowd and all those Effenheimers. I think there's got to be something, and I don't know if it's just closed-door meetings you can handle it there. Does that bother you in the least?
It does. Okay. It's not a professional look. She can't be, and not only that, but the 2-minute and 17-second rant she had at the end of the game too took no questions. All she did was rip the league, rip the officials, and cast doubt on the veracity of the outcome of games. That's what she did the year before in the finals. She flat out came out and said, "Look, the commissioner's wearing New York clothing." She doubted the veracity of games last year. That is egregious. And then this year was just a lot of foul mouth stuff. Right. I thought it was almost worse last year, but I don't know. I think they have a conversation. Hard to let her go. Somebody will pick her up right away.
Yeah,
but there needs to be some repercussions from this last outburst, I think.
Todd, I am out of time. I want to say thank you very much for stepping in and doing this with me. Always fun to chat, my friend.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate it.
Todd Bergeth, the sports voice in West Central Minnesota on the Al Travis Show.